My name is Griffin. This is Sarah, Zach, Jillian, and Jordan. And our group has been looking at the what extent does the exhibition of power in science fiction films reflect a critique of modern American society. And as a group, we've concluded that science fiction films deeply and directly correspond to real events happening in modern society. I've been looking at the economic lens, and I've seen that in science fiction films, people who are evil are normally portrayed as the ones who have lots of economic power, and they make use of large amounts of money and large corporations to take advantage of normal citizens. One example of this is in an article by Stephanie Guerrera, and she's a professor at Seattle University, and she has seen that in science fiction films, evil people will use biotechnology to take advantage of people and their corporate power, and they use this biotechnology by making people dependent on the technology, and she does this by looking at several novels within the genre. One of these is Rash by Peter Hottman, and in that novel they use the penal system, and they actually pay to use it to make the workers work to make prisoners work 16 hours a day, and that's the basis of their society, is that labor. Another example that she references, the illegal immigrants are brainwashed and they're used for slave labor. And our group has been also looking at 5 science fiction films, and among these are Jurassic Park, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Star Wars: A New Hope, and Superman, specifically the 1978 version. And in all of these, economic power is evident and used to take advantage of normal people. In Jurassic Park, the billionaire, John Hammond, he assures everybody that this facility is perfectly safe and that the dinosaurs within the facility can't hurt anybody. Well, the dinosaurs end up killing several people. Also, Superman, the primary antagonist of the film, is Lex Luthor, and he's a billionaire that also takes advantage of people. And just a third example would be E.T., the government, and they use a lot of scientists and their power to take advantage of an immigrant from outer space.
So science fiction also represents a critique of culture and society in modern America, particularly the absence of father figures in some homes. For example, in E.T., the protagonist Elliot has no father, no friends, and is socially inept. While in Star Wars, Luke Skywalker has lost both sets of his parents and goes on a reckless journey. Now, why does this matter? According to Paul Rayburn, who has written several articles for Scientific American, Business Week, and the Associated Press, fathers have a direct impact on their children's intellectual growth, adjustment to school, and behavior. According to the 2015 United States Census, 23% of American children lived without their fathers. This is important because, as I had stated before, fathers directly influence their children's development. Some solutions to this problem of fatherlessness in America have been presented by experts such as Ryan Sanders of the National Fatherhood Initiative, who states that in order to solve the fatherhood crisis, we must first recognize that there is a problem, then commit to raising responsible and committed fathers.
I took the scientific lens, and evident in the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey, there is an artificial intelligence being, a HAL 9000, that attempts to kill all of the people on the ship. And this is a critique on American society in the advancement of artificial intelligence, saying it's a warning that with the ever-advancing industry, that eventually something will happen and it will evolve enough to take over society. So why should we care? Everyone has had at least one experience with artificial intelligence. Siri on your phone, anything. Google, using that too, anything.
Okay, so looking at this from a philosophical perspective, you can see on how the usage of power is evident in various science fiction films, such as Jurassic Park, where as Griffin has previously stated, Dr. John Hammond, who is a multi-billionaire, creates an island that is centered around the revival of dinosaurs, and being so, I guess you could say, drunk on power at this point, that he doesn't even realize the consequences of said actions, and which results in the death of several people. And this is actually a critique on modern American society, because people don't, just in this day and age, and the age and information, some people could say, people just don't understand the cause and effect of their actions at this, even just the millennial generation and as the generations go down. And with this, the relevance of this though is the fact that so many people just don't think about anything other than themselves because of the heavy usage of technology and whatnot. And so how you can actually solve this though is to integrate mindfulness into your daily life, whether that be just meditating for 5 minutes a day, or just remaining to have a open perspective on life, whereas most people don't.
Now, often the modern American society draws its influence from its past. A 2013 Gallup poll showed that 70% of American adults wish for immigration reform. We can draw the attitudes towards immigration as a parallel from Richard Donner's 1978 film, Superman. Now, as a reflection of the political climate of the time, Superman, 1978, was in the midst of a globalized arms race known as the Cold War. The United Nations Culture and Societal Organization recalled that the Cold War and similar foreign influences on us and our fear of foreign power drew a negative response from the American people. We see this in the official synopsis of Superman from the Internet Movie Database. Clark Kent, our protagonist, as he was maturing into the eventual superhero that he would become, many of his peers bullied him. He was abused because they were afraid of his power. Now, ultimately, the issues surrounding xenophobia and the fear of foreign power on our country will not be resolved unless we set aside our nativism and our fear for those that are different than us. All the principles discussed can be drawn and synthesized across all areas of modern American society. And it is through science fiction film that we can see a clear characterization and critique of the American story. We did it by lens.
That's fine. All right, good job.